calling on Deputy Adams.
Taoiseach, the appointment of two ministers with responsibility for the Gaeltacht who do not have functioning Irish is a backward step, and I make no criticism of either minister. I have worked with Cheannairí, who played a very positive role as chair of the Good Friday Agreement Implementation Committee, and I'm sure that both he and Ira Humphrey are very capable representatives. So Neil May Torchamak we na Cheachtaí Shaw. But the appointments, the manner in which the department has been reorganised, are further evidence of the downgrading of the Irish language and the Gaeltacht that has been the mark of your government. Agus gab bliano hen brú dá rialtas and billa Gaeltachta, tríd na dala, cé nach ro aon dina sásta leis. Agus an Ceibhnead Taoiseach húil na frasara amach nuair a hui sé tríd agus fin na grúpi Gaelga agus Gaeltachta harabé mi hásta faoi. Taoiseach, Gaeltacht communities have been stripped of their right to democratic representation on Uras na Gaeltachta, and there's another Quango which is not representative of the people of the Gaeltacht areas. Agus mi na nullag seo caite, Cheannairí na Commissioner Cheannairí Sean O'Kieran as a post. Agus Ceibhnead Shaw dúirt sé ag an uair go raibh sé deanta aga mar nach raibh sé sásta leis an policy teanga an rialtas dúirt sé go raibh an stáit ag obair an éideann na dúilgasaí a bhí acu faoi act na teangacha. So, Taoiseach, your decisions have increased the marginalisation of the Irish language in the public administrative system, and the decision to merge the office of Commissioner Cheannairí with the office of the Ombudsman and the insufficient resources is all evidence of the disregard the government has for the Irish language. So, Taoiseach, tá grúpa Gaelga agus grúpi Gaeltacht the jarag le farg faoi seo. You're my lads a couple of ag an eile faoi na daoine óg agus na daoine éasta a bhfuil ag lorg a bheith in a hónaí agus a bheith abhalta ceann faoi a teanga dúchaí. So tá is agah gur anan tír le teanga agus tír le anam. So Taoiseach, in the light of the criticism of your appointments, will you now reconsider the allocation of these posts and ensure that at least one of the two ministers with responsibility for the Gaeltacht areas has working Irish?
Well, I'm going to answer you in English so that everybody will understand this. What you have just said is typical of the reasons why we are not as bilingual as we should be around the country. Because what you are suggesting is that neither Minister Heather Humphreys nor Minister of State Joe McHugh are capable of learning our native tongue or relearning it, as the case may be. And I think that that's an insult from the leader of your party, from you as leader of your party, to make that kind of suggestion. I actually believe very strongly, Deputy Adams, that Minister Humphreys and Minister of State McHugh, by their example of immersing themselves in the language to be conversationally fluent, will actually demonstrate to a great number of people around the country that it's quite easy to learn the Irish language. Agus bean lífacht acu taréis tamalin vig. Now, I advised Minister of State McHugh to go down to Idjascoil in Glouncallamkilla and to take a refresher course down there, because he's got the language inside him, but it's rusty. And isn't it a good thing? Isn't it a good thing, Deputy Adams? Isn't it a good thing? Sorry. Isn't it a good thing? Is it not a good thing? Is it not a good thing to say? Is it not a good thing to say, I'm as Irish as anybody else, but my lífacht in my native tongue is not at the proficiency that it should be, but I'm going to learn it. I remember Minister of State Cheannairí from County Clare, whose Irish was long gone, went back and relearned it.
Please.
I remember Minister of State, the last concord of the day, the late lamented Jim Tunney, answering a question from that seat to Deputy Jim White from Donegal over there. And Jim White had no Irish, but he was of a different religion. And there was a row in this House about religious discrimination and the Irish language, which you're not suggesting now. But I just want you to say, Deputy Adams, I know your interest in the language and you know mine. And I want you to understand that Minister of State McHugh will prove and demonstrate that he'll be able to come into this House here or anywhere else and engage conversationally Oscailge with the leaflet that it deserves. And I would make the further point to you. You say, Deputy Adams, that the Commissioner Changa has been absorbed into another entity. I make the point to you, the government reversed that decision and the government left the Commissioner Changa with his Njavs blockus, with adequate staff and adequate funding because of the extraordinary work done by an Iara Stach, Donacham Magunala, Nirkotu Kirstashin Oscailge.
Deputy Adams.
Taoiseach, I think you missed the point quite deliberately.
Sorry, would you all stay quiet, please? Including you, Deputy McGrath, you consistently interrupt. Sorry, Deputy. If you can't stay quiet, please leave the chamber. Thank you. Deputy Adams, thank you.
Well, Coran Cast Orgums, Can Oichen were my McGilga, for my McGilga and Camp Case Fada, we glass in the gallows. Shannon Oichen were my McGilga, August Nervime, the Tamil Garrett, the block and a hitch, for my McGilga and Shin Foster, or Kyle to Taoiseach and Cashed. You see, there's been a whole series of cuts in services to the people of the Gaeltacht areas and to parents and children who want to be educated and to live their lives through Irish. And of course, anybody can learn Irish. To Tommy Yana Mayihale Yanov, August Tommy and Mahasab and Shaw, Egg Conch, Gaelga. So Tommy Yana Mayihale, Nime Moradurt Meg Torture Mark Queen, na Chactadala, Humphrey no McHugh. But see, Shannon saying there are two junior ministers in this department. One has Irish and has no responsibility for the Gaeltacht, and one doesn't have Irish and has responsibility for the Gaeltacht. And here's the rub. When a delegation from the Gaeltacht comes in to meet with the minister, they will not be able to converse with the minister and do a working meeting with the minister in their own language. That's the problem. And they have the right, it's Carda Shannon Cashed, August says Cash Gohan, Tavok Take Shaw. There's a civil right that if a person wants to receive a public service as a citizen of this state and a resident in the Gaeltacht area, they should be able to do that. They cannot do that. That's one of the reasons why the Commissioner Changa resigned.
Thank you. We're over time, Deputy. Thank you.
Conclusion, obvious. Two junior ministers in one department, one with Gaelga, with no responsibility for the Gaeltacht, one without Gaelga, with responsibility for the Gaeltacht. Two small Taoiseach, Isla na Hebra.
Tam go mac an brosiúil aniu, ní bheith me ná an cuid gan hanga chi a hiiscint, agus tá córas astracán le fáil. Tá sin seo freisin, agus má hagan daoine isteach go Gaeltacht ag cáint leis an ara Gaeltacht an ara sínsir. Bei sin an córas éisteach leis a córas agus é a hiiscint, agus beag an ara stáit I láthair freisin. Nes bhí méiste an é le éimean ó chuomh, hanig sé isteach an agus dúirt sé, níl Gaelgear bé ag an ara. Bacat go Gaelga gan ara. Bhí a chul ceathair hain an seo le 8 bliana mar ara Gaeltachta, síle mar cara mhór de Valera, agus nuair a focail Gaelgear beheici, agus ní rinne sé iirecht é álamach nerad. So siota mis rá leat. Siota mé rá leat. Siota mé rá leat. Nuair a thugus siota mé rá leat, Jerry, a hachta, cum leisciil, nuair a thugus an dáil th náiste leis an saoirí, beag an ara stáit go líofacht ag Cant Gaeilge, agus beag tuiscint ag an ara sínsir. Agus ná bíoch éim ní iad siúd atá teachta isteach an Gaeltacht, isteach gan fuigeann seo, beag tuiscint mhór ag an ara sínsir agus ag an ara hóisir faoi ceartá i gceist.